There is a moment that has never ended. It did not pass. It did not fade. It did not become history. It is still here. Not as a memory, not as a recording, but as something that continues to exist quietly everywhere. This moment began at the very start of the universe. Before stars, before galaxies, before space had fully learned how to stretch. And even now, after billions of years, it remains. To understand this moment, we have to let go of how we usually think about time. Time feels like something that moves forward. Moments appear, then disappear. The past feels gone. But the universe does not experience time the way we do. In physics, moments are not erased when they pass. They become part of the structure of reality itself. The earliest moment the universe ever had did not vanish. It expanded. When the universe was young, it was hot, dense, and filled with energy. Not concentrated in one place but everywhere at once. Light could not travel freely yet. Matter and energy were tightly coupled, constantly interacting. The universe was not dark. It was opaque. Photons existed, but they could not move far without being scattered. Every direction was filled with interaction. Time passed and space expanded. As the universe cooled, something remarkable happened. Matter became stable enough for light to finally move freely. For the first time, photons were released. They did not disappear. They began a journey that has never stopped. Those photons are still traveling today. They have been stretched by expansion, cooled by time, softened by distance. But they remain. They surround us now. This ancient light is known as the cosmic microwave background. It is not coming from one direction. It comes from everywhere. No matter where you look, you are seeing light that began at nearly the same moment. The oldest moment still exists because it never needed to go anywhere. It simply expanded along with the universe. When we observe this light, we are not looking back in time the way we look at distant stars. We are seeing a moment that has been continuously present. The universe carries its beginning with it. Not as a memory but as a physical presence. This means the earliest era of existence is not gone. It is diluted, stretched, cooled, but it is not erased. Every cubic centimeter of space still contains faint energy from that first moment. The universe remembers itself, not through consciousness but through structure. As space expanded, it did not leave the beginning behind. It unfolded it. Imagine a painting that grows larger over time. The original brushstrokes are still there. They are just farther apart. The universe works the same way. The earliest moment was not replaced by later moments. Later moments were added on top of it. This is why the oldest moment still exists. It exists as the background of everything else. Every star, every planet, every atom formed on top of that original state. Nothing ever escaped it. Even now, the universe is still cooling from its beginning, still relaxing, still settling. The heat of creation has not vanished. It has simply spread thin. This tells us something profound. The universe does not reset. It does not delete. It accumulates. Time does not erase moments. It layers them. If you could step outside time and view the universe all at once, you would not see a line. You would see a structure. A vast, expanding shape where the beginning is still present everywhere. The oldest moment is not behind us. It is beneath us, supporting everything. As the universe aged, complexity emerged. Particles formed. Atoms assembled. Stars ignited. But all of this happened within a universe still filled with its own beginning. The earliest light passed through forming galaxies. It passed through forming stars. It passed through forming planets. It passed through everything that would ever exist. It was never interrupted. This means that the universe never truly left its first moment. It only built upon it. Even now, as galaxies drift apart and stars fade, that ancient moment remains. Quiet, even persistent. Long after the last star burns out, the oldest moment will still exist. Long after structure dissolves, it will still be there. Even at the final second of the universe, the beginning will remain. The universe ends the same way it began, not with absence, but with presence spread thin. This is why the oldest moment still exists. It was never a point in time. It was a state, and states do not disappear. They evolve, they stretch, they remain. The oldest moment continues not because it is preserved, but because there is no mechanism that could remove it. Physics has no eraser. When the universe changes, it does not overwrite what came before. It builds on it. Every expansion of space carries earlier conditions forward. Every cooling phase keeps the memory of higher temperatures within it. The universe never forgets. It only relaxes. The light from that earliest moment has been stretched so far that it is no longer visible. It no longer warms. It no longer illuminates. But it is still there. Every direction in space carries it. Even in the deepest voids between galaxies, that ancient energy remains. It is quieter than anything else that exists, fainter than any star, older than any structure. Yet it fills the universe more completely than anything ever has. This means that no matter where you go, you are never far from the beginning. You cannot outrun it. You cannot travel beyond it. Even if you could move faster than light, you would still be within the expanded remains of that first moment. Because the universe did not expand into emptiness. Emptiness came later. At the beginning, everything was already here. Space did not open to receive matter. Matter and space emerged together. So the earliest moment is not a point you could return to. It is not a location. It is a condition that underlies all locations. This is why the universe looks the same in every direction at large scales. The oldest moment imposed uniformity. It smoothed differences. Even now, after billions of years of structure and collapse and formation, that early uniformity still shapes everything. Galaxies form where slight variations existed. Those variations were tiny. 1 part in 100,000. The rest of the universe was nearly identical. That near perfection is still visible today. When scientists measure the cosmic background, they are not looking for brightness. They are looking for tiny differences, faint patterns, gentle ripples. Those ripples are the imprints of the universe learning how to become complex. They are the fingerprints of possibility. Without them, nothing would have formed. But even those ripples are part of the oldest moment. They did not appear later. They were always there. They simply grew in influence as the universe expanded. This tells us something else. The future of the universe is already encoded in its beginning. Not in detail, not as destiny, but as tendency. The universe began smooth. It moved toward complexity, and it will eventually return to smoothness again. The oldest moment and the final moment are not opposites. They are mirrors. At the beginning, energy was evenly spread because everything was close together. At the end, energy will be evenly spread because everything is far apart. Different mechanisms. Same result. Uniformity. This means the universe completes a long, slow arc. From simplicity to complexity and back to simplicity again. But the simplicity at the end is quieter, colder, more settled. The oldest moment never vanished during this arc. It stretched with it, like a melody slowed until it becomes a tone. Still present, still real, just softer. When we think about time, we imagine it as a line with a start and an end. But the universe experiences time more like a growing shape. The beginning is not behind us. It is within us, within space, within matter, within the faint background that never goes away. This has strange implications. It means that the universe has always been old, even when it was young. The oldest moment existed even when the universe was only seconds old. Age is not something added later. It is embedded. The universe carries its entire history with it at all times. Not as memory but as physical reality. This is why nothing can truly erase the past. Stars can explode. Galaxies can merge. Structures can collapse. But the underlying state that allowed those things to happen remains. Even black holes cannot destroy it. When matter falls into a black hole, information about its detailed arrangement may become inaccessible. But the background state of the universe is unaffected. The oldest moment passes through black holes without resistance. It is everywhere. When black holes evaporate in the far future, the oldest moment will still be there. When matter decays and particles drift apart, will still be there. Even when nothing else remains that can be recognized, the beginning will persist. This means the universe never truly leaves its origin. It only grows away from it. But growth does not imply separation. It implies expansion. And expansion preserves what already exists. The oldest moment is not fragile. It cannot be broken. It cannot be diluted away completely. No matter how large the universe becomes, that early state remains embedded in its structure. This is why cosmology is not just about the past. It is about what still exists. The beginning is not something we infer. It is something we observe. Every time we detect the faint background of ancient light, we are touching the earliest moment that still exists. Not metaphorically, physically. The universe is old everywhere at once, and it always has been. The oldest moment shapes the future not by directing it, but by limiting what is possible. Because the universe began in a nearly uniform state, it could only evolve in certain ways. Complexity was allowed, but only temporarily. Differences could grow, but only while energy gradients existed. Once those gradients fade, the universe naturally drifts back toward the condition it began in. This is not coincidence. It is continuity. Entropy is often described as disorder, but that description misses something important. Entropy is not chaos. Entropy is sameness. It is the universe's tendency to return to uniformity. The oldest moment represents the most uniform state the universe ever had at high energy. The final moment will represent the most uniform state it ever has at low energy. Between those two moments lies everything that ever happens. Stars, galaxies, life, thought. All of it exists in the narrow window between two vast planes of sameness. This makes the existence of complexity rare, but not accidental. The universe was never designed to stay complex. It was designed to relax. Complexity is what happens during the relaxation, like patterns in water as it settles. The oldest moment is the memory of the universe before it began relaxing. The final moment will be the universe after it has fully relaxed. In that sense, the beginning and the end are the same moment, experienced at different scales. At the beginning, everything was close together. At the end, everything is far apart. But the structure of the state is nearly identical. Uniform energy, minimal contrast, no preferred direction. This means that the universe's deepest state never really changes. It appears briefly distorted by structure, then returns to itself. The oldest moment is not just still present. It is the default. Everything else is temporary. When stars shine, they do so briefly. When galaxies form, they do so briefly. When life arises, it does so briefly. Briefly not in human terms, but in cosmic ones. Compared to eternity, all structure is a flicker. The background state is what lasts. This helps explain why the universe is so large and so quiet. The oldest moment set the tone. It made uniformity natural. It made smoothness stable. The universe does not resist returning to that condition. It prefers it. This preference is not intention. It is mathematics. The equations that describe reality naturally move toward equilibrium. The universe is simply following its own rules. And those rules were written into existence from the first moment onward. As time moves forward, the influence of the oldest moment becomes more obvious. Stars burn out. Galaxies drift apart. Energy spreads thinner. The universe begins to resemble its beginning again. Not in temperature, not in density, but in structure. Smooth, even, quiet. The cosmic background light continues to cool. Its wavelength stretches further. Its energy approaches zero, but it never fully disappears. There is no mechanism that could remove it completely. As long as space exists, the oldest moment remains written into it. This means that the universe will always carry a trace of its birth. Even in its final state, the beginning will still be present. This gives the universe a strange kind of symmetry. It begins in uniformity. It ends in uniformity. But the uniformity is not empty. It is full of history that has been spread too thin to notice. Everything that ever existed leaves a contribution, not as structure, not as memory, but as energy redistributed into the background. Nothing is truly lost. It is only flattened. This is why the universe cannot reset. There is no moment where everything clears and starts again. The past is not erased. It is incorporated. The oldest moment does not sit behind the present. It sits beneath it, supporting it, filling it. As the universe ages, it does not move away from its beginning. It moves deeper into it, closer in structure, closer in condition. The final state of the universe is not a departure. It is a return stretched across unimaginable time. This is why the idea of an ultimate ending feels misleading. The universe does not end. It settles back into its original posture. The oldest moment was not explosive because it wanted to be dramatic. It was explosive because it was dense. The final moment is quiet because it is sparse. But both moments share the same underlying calm. The universe begins calm, becomes loud, and then becomes calm again. The calm was always there. It was only temporarily disturbed. This disturbance allowed everything we know to exist. But it was never meant to last. And the universe does not regret that. It does not mourn complexity. It does not cling to structure. It allows it to arise, and then allows it to fade. The oldest moment remains through all of it, watching in a sense, not as awareness, but as foundation. When the last star fades and the last structure dissolves, the universe will not be empty. It will be full of its own beginning. And that beginning will still be happening. Not actively, not dramatically, but continuously. The oldest moment does not end. It simply becomes everything again. As the universe moves deeper into its future, time itself begins to change character. Not because time stops, but because nothing meaningful happens within it. Events require contrast. They require differences. They require energy flowing from one place to another. As those differences fade, time loses its landmarks. Seconds still pass, but nothing marks them. No reactions complete. No structures transform. No processes reach milestones. The universe continues, but without narrative. In this far future, the oldest moment becomes dominant again, not because it grows stronger, but because everything else has weakened. The background state becomes the only remaining feature. The universe does not collapse back into its beginning. It does not rewind. It simply becomes indistinguishable from it in every practical sense. The temperature approaches uniformity. The energy density approaches uniformity. The distribution of particles approaches uniformity. Not perfectly, never perfectly, but close enough that no observer could tell the difference, if an observer could exist at all. At this stage, the universe is not empty. It is saturated. Saturated with history spread so thin that it can no longer form patterns. Every photon ever emitted has been stretched into near nothingness. Every particle that once carried identity has drifted far beyond interaction. Every structure that once defined location has dissolved into irrelevance. What remains is not absence. It is completeness. The oldest moment and the final moment overlap. Not in time, but in condition. The universe returns to a state where every place is like every other place. Where direction has no meaning. Where change has no destination. This is the natural resting state of reality. It is not death. It is rest. In this state, entropy has reached its maximum. Not because everything is disordered, but because everything is evenly shared. There are no gradients left to smooth. No imbalance is left to resolve. The universe has finished relaxing, and when relaxation finishes, nothing else can happen. The oldest moment existed before anything could happen. The final moment exists after anything can happen. Between them lies all of history. This means history is not the point. It is the exception. The universe is mostly timeless, interrupted briefly by structure. This reframes everything we usually care about. Stars are temporary. Galaxies are temporary. Even space-time itself may be temporary. But the underlying condition of the universe is persistent. Uniformity is the rule. Difference is the detour. The oldest moment is not special because it came first. It is special because it never left. It defines what the universe naturally is when nothing is pushing it away from equilibrium. Everything that ever happens is a deviation. And deviations always fade. In the far future, even the concept of distance becomes strange. Expansion continues. Space grows larger. But without objects to measure separation, distance loses meaning. There are no reference points, no frames, no clocks. Time still exists mathematically, but there is nothing left to experience it. The universe becomes a place where moments cannot be distinguished from one another. Each instant is identical to the next. Change requires memory. But memory requires structure, and structure no longer exists. In this way, the universe approaches a kind of timelessness, not because time ends, but because time no longer does anything. The oldest moment was like this too. In the earliest fractions of a second, the universe was changing too rapidly for structure to exist. There were no clocks, no stable particles, no processes that could mark duration. Time existed, but it had no features. The universe began in a blur. It ends in a blur. Between those blurs lies clarity. Brief, precious, rare. The universe does not favor clarity. It tolerates it, and then it moves on. The oldest moment is the baseline. It is what the universe becomes when nothing interferes. This does not diminish the importance of everything in between. It explains it. Complexity is not the goal. It is the consequence of imbalance. Life is not central. It is emergent. Thought is not permanent. It is fleeting. But all of these things mattered while they existed. They reshaped energy. They redistributed matter. They contributed to the background. They are part of the oldest moment now. Flattened, spread, preserved. In a strange way, everything that has ever existed is still present. Not as itself, but as contribution. Nothing escapes the universe. Nothing leaves a hole. Everything becomes part of the uniform whole. This is what it means for the oldest moment to still exist. It is not a snapshot frozen in time. It is a living state that absorbs everything. The universe does not forget. It averages. As the final ages pass, the universe becomes simpler than simplicity. Not empty, not dark, just unchanging. And in that unchanging state, the first moment and the last moment become indistinguishable. The universe completes its arc, not with an ending, but with a return to its natural condition. And that condition has been here all along. In a universe where the beginning never truly ended, meaning takes on a different shape. Meaning is usually tied to sequence. One thing happens, then another, and the connection between them matters. But when time loses its features, sequence fades. Without sequence, meaning cannot accumulate. It cannot build. It cannot point forward. This does not make existence meaningless. It makes meaning local, temporary, bound to moments of contrast. In such a universe, meaning only exists where differences exist, where energy flows, where something can change. The oldest moment does not carry meaning. It carries potential. It is the canvas, not the painting. The painting appears briefly, then fades back into the canvas. Observers only arise during those brief intervals. Consciousness requires structure. Structure requires imbalance. Imbalance requires time with texture. When those conditions disappear, so do observers. The universe does not lose awareness. Awareness was never a property of the universe as a whole. It was a property of certain arrangements within it. Those arrangements were always temporary. This means the universe does not witness its own beginning or its own end. It simply exists. Observation is a phase, not a feature. In the earliest moments, the universe changed too quickly for observers to exist. In the final moments, it changes too slowly. Only in the middle does observation become possible. This middle period is narrow, but it is enough. Enough for stars to shine. Enough for planets to form. Enough for life to arise and wonder where it came from. Those questions are part of the universe's internal dynamics. They do not echo beyond their era, but they are not lost. They shape the distribution of energy. They influence the future. They become part of the background. This reframes the idea of permanence. Nothing persists as itself, but everything persists as influence. The oldest moment is not untouched by what came after. It absorbs the consequences of everything. Every reaction, every fusion event, every thought, all of it ends up flattened into the same quiet state, not erased, integrated. This is why the universe feels both fragile and eternal. Fragile in its details, eternal in its foundation. Civilizations can vanish, stars can collapse, even particles can decay, but the underlying state remains. The universe can lose everything except itself. The oldest moment is what remains when nothing else can. This also means the universe does not progress toward perfection. It progresses toward sameness. Perfection implies intention. Sameness requires none. The universe does not optimize. It equilibrates. This process is slow. So slow that entire histories unfold within it. So slow that life mistakes the process for purpose. But the process is simple. Differences fade. Uniformity grows. The oldest moment is the reference point. It is where the universe naturally drifts when left alone. This has an unexpected implication. The universe is not young or old. Those are human categories. The universe is stable. It undergoes phases, but its underlying condition remains. This is why cosmology feels both dynamic and static. On small scales, everything changes. On large scales, almost nothing does. The beginning set the large-scale condition. Everything else is detail. The details matter while they exist. They do not matter to the universe. The universe is indifferent to its own complexity. It does not preserve it. It does not mourn its loss. It allows it, then lets it go. The oldest moment is indifferent too. It does not observe the present. It does not anchor meaning. It simply provides the background state against which everything unfolds. Meaning arises locally, temporarily, then dissolves. This is not a flaw. It is what allows meaning to exist at all. If everything were permanent, nothing would matter. If nothing changed, nothing could be noticed. The briefness of structure gives it significance. The universe does not need meaning to exist. Meaning needs the universe to briefly not be uniform. The oldest moment ensures that this window is narrow, but it is wide enough. Wide enough for awareness to appear. Wide enough for curiosity. Wide enough for questions like this one. In that sense, the universe is not hostile to meaning. It is indifferent to it. And indifference is enough. Because meaning does not need eternity. It needs contrast. It needs time with texture. It needs the brief disruption of sameness. The oldest moment makes that disruption possible by being nearly uniform, but not perfectly so. Those tiny imperfections gave rise to everything. And once everything has passed, those imperfections will be smoothed away again. The universe will return to its baseline. The oldest moment will remain, unchanged in character, expanded beyond comprehension, still present, still happening, not as an event, as a state. This is not a conclusion. It is a settling. The universe does not close a chapter. It slowly relaxes back into the condition it never truly left. and in doing so, it carries the quiet imprint of everything that ever was, not as memory, not as story, but as the faintest possible difference, spread across everything. The oldest moment does not end. It becomes all that remains, and it has been waiting, patiently, the entire time. Eventually, even language stops being useful. Words rely on distinction. This, not that, before, after, here, there. But in the far future of the universe, distinctions fade beyond usefulness, not because they are forbidden, but because they no longer correspond to anything real. When every region of space behaves the same way, there is no meaningful here. When every moment mirrors the one before it, there is no meaningful now. The universe does not become confusing. It becomes simple beyond description. At this stage, even calling it a stage is misleading. Stages imply progression, but progression has ended. The universe has finished unfolding. What remains is not an aftermath. It is the natural condition revealed once all temporary structures have dissolved. The oldest moment no longer feels ancient. Age requires comparison. Without change, nothing can be older than anything else. The universe does not feel young or old. It simply is. This state cannot be observed from within. Observation requires contrast between observer and observed. But there is no longer a difference. There are no observers. Not because something went wrong, but because observers were never part of the baseline. They were features of imbalance. When imbalance ends, so does observation. The universe does not notice the absence of observers. Nothing is missing. Nothing is incomplete. The universe does not need to be witnessed to exist. Existence is not a performance. It does not require an audience. The oldest moment persists without recognition. It does not need to be remembered. It does not need to be understood. Understanding was a brief phenomenon, possible only while complexity existed. In this final uniformity, even the idea of final breaks down. Final compared to what? There is no next phase, no transition, no shift. The universe is no longer doing anything. It has arrived at itself. This is not stasis imposed from outside. It is equilibrium reached from within. The equations describing reality do not fail here. They simplify. They reduce to constants, to steady states, to solutions without time dependence. The universe has solved itself, not in the sense of a puzzle, but in the sense of relaxation. Everything that could happen has already happened. Everything that could be redistributed has been redistributed. Nothing remains uneven enough to move. This does not undo history. History remains encoded in the distribution of energy, but spread so evenly that no pattern can be recovered. Like ink dissolved into an ocean, the ink is still there, but the writing is gone. This is what it means for the oldest moment to absorb everything, not by preserving detail, but by dissolving distinction. In this sense, the universe is complete, not fulfilled, not perfected, complete. There are no loose ends, no unfinished processes, no waiting outcomes. Waiting itself required anticipation. Anticipation required difference between present and future. That difference no longer exists. The universe does not anticipate. It does not remember. It does not reflect. Those were temporary behaviors. The universe is not diminished without them. They were never fundamental. They were emergent. The oldest moment was never about experience. It was about condition. And that condition has been restored. The universe has not returned to its beginning in time. It has returned to its beginning in character. The same uniformity, the same lack of preference, the same absence of direction, the same quiet stability. This is why the beginning never truly ended. It was never replaced. It was only masked. For a while, the universe wore structure like a pattern on its surface. Now the surface has smoothed. What remains is the underlying state, uninterrupted, unconcerned, unchanging. And in this state, even the concept of moment becomes symbolic. There are no moments. There is no flow. There is only existence without events. A universe that is no longer telling a story. Not because the story failed, but because it finished naturally. Every story requires contrast. The universe has none left. This is not silence following sound. It is silence that no longer remembers sound. The oldest moment does not echo. It does not linger. It simply remains, as it always has, as it always will. Not forever in time, but fully, completely, without reference to time at all. And that is the final truth the universe arrives at. That its beginning was not something it escaped. It was something it expressed briefly, then returned to. The universe did not start loud and end quiet. It was always quiet. Noise was the exception. Structure was the exception. Awareness was the exception. And exceptions by definition do not last. What lasts is the rule. The rule is uniformity. The rule is equilibrium. The rule is the oldest moment. Still here. Still present. Not waiting. Not ending. Simply being. And with that, the universe rests in the condition it never truly left.